What's good, everybody? I'm going to try to talk about a few things, including 2012, the Mayans, ancestors, salts, spirits, entities, the dream world, astral travel. I'm trying to throw a bunch of ideas out here and see how it links up into your consciousness. And I'm not really sure about how to start this, but it's this idea that you have a dream world and a physical reality, and how we try to separate them. Most people don't have a dream world because it's been fluoridated out of them. They have heavy meta L's. Metals are meta L's. And this goes into the other videos I've done on salt and heavy metals, and the ability for kings and queens and people in the know of how electricity and conductivity works to manipulate and control minds. And when they take away, by the use of different types of magic and different types of actual physical and electrical systems, they take away the ability to dream. They take away an astral realm, a plane, a meta. And they can even link you up to a meta program. And these meta programs have to do with the frequency and the bandwidth of what is considered royalty, and why people's obsession with gold. Now, people that have a lot of gold, they go and buy their gold. They're literally splitting themselves to need the spice or the meta of the L's. They want metals. They want to get a medal, a medallion for winning the race. They want to stand atop that three-sided pyramid after running faster, jumping higher, doing something, and then the kings and judges will rule down upon them on this physical landscape by giving them a gold or a silver or a bronze token, so that on this plane they're looked at as somehow exalted, more definitive beings. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with physically displaying the power and the majesty of the spirit, because certainly that's part of it. But these people that are out there running around doing all these physical acts, and these people that are on the other scope are sitting in a cave like a monk, and they're putting out brain waves, and their minds are powerful. Nobody knows who they are. But are they not more powerful than the people doing the physical acts, who are now asking the king or queen, and they're also going to these stadiums, which are actually taking the magnetic field of all of the people in the stadium and the energy of the people in the stadium when they clap. And when these people clap, they're putting their electrical field together with their left and their right hand, and they're making a noise, and it's called sonoluminescence, and they're giving their energy and they're giving their focus and attention to exalting the person that's in the middle of the stadium. And then the winner, who is won, ONEWON, collects the reward. They're rewarded with a token from the king. Is that something that people should desire? Is that what we want? Or is that an egoic venture? Should anyone want to be popularized and known? Or would they desire that their idea, because the idea, they say kill a man, but the idea lives on. So these ideas, which are memes or meta, like meta landscapes, not meta L's, they're not metals. You don't find, what you find is that a newspaper will take a meta L and imprint something on it and put it on a paper, which is the papacy. And they tell everyone something and everyone believes it. And to believe is to be the lie of Eve. So be the lie of the evening, which is the black occulted magic that people use for the egoic purposes. So when people do these black magical arts and put them in front of you and you don't notice that the ink on the paper is the kin, and it's the black magicians that are telling you something to put you in a fear-based mindset. So this ink that is printed on the paper through the meta L, and then you go to the stadium and you get the medal, the meta L, the meta. See, is this what should be delivered? But then there's these magicians that do work in caves, and they don't come out and ask for a reward. They don't want. They don't won't. Want is won't. Remember that. This is why whenever you speak something, you don't use the words want, because want means won't. So these people that are sitting here in these caves doing these things and putting out brainwaves are offering a freedom of mind. But these kings and queens that put themselves on the tell lies to your vision, they put themselves on the television and they ask you to eat the salt because they want to assault you, and they want you to take in metal, heavy metals, and you want to get on a floor ride because you want to ride the floor. The lore of the the F word, the lore of the four walls, the walls which are laws, and the laws which are the container or the boundaries of your spirit and consciousness. And we take in these heavy metals and we do these, we act out something for a king or a queen or something that we find to be above us, when in truth, we are all that is. Like, our mind is it. That's the thing. But then we put things in our mind, including ideas, and then literally physical objects end up in our brain, and we've been convinced to do it from a young age. So these works, these understandings, these consciousnesses that are delivered to us as memes, these religious constructs, religion, a legion again, these governments to govern the mind. And you look at them, and you look at these people in the governments, and you wonder, can they even govern their own minds at all? There are people that act things out in a fun way, and some of these actors may be of the good spirit, the good agenda, with a good intention. And some of them are just following the orders of the magistrate because they desire what the money and the moon, which they think provides them, or the sun worship. They want the physical material, matter world, when in reality, they need to get rid of the material and then they can have everything. What's the matter? Well, is there anything that's a matter? Mater, M-A-T-E-R, M-A-D-D-E-R, matter? What's the matter? So, we're, all of us, to a degree, and this has to do with all of the degrees of the fire and the masonry and all of this, and what a Freemason might be, and what this whole construct we live in. At what point and how do we free our minds individually and collectively? How do we do that? And again, People think they want to gleam the cube. They want to, every planet, and it's not even a planet, it's a wandering star, it's an energy system, has its good and its bad, as people like to call it. It's positive and negative, it's male and it's female. Everything does. But certainly, let's not confuse that with what is quality. Because there is certainly what is quality. If we look at the Renaissance art, we can see quality. We can see craftsmanship. We can see devotion. We can see dedication. We can see quality. And then we look at this art form that comes out, and it's bizarre and confused, and we see the mind of the artist in the artwork, but then that confusion is exalted. That confusion is paid for. People buy up the utter incompetence. This is the wicked, the Wiccan. This is the black magic that's gone wrong. There's light magic that goes wrong too. And it's because it doesn't have a balance of both, because it has no comprehension of how it works. So we find this art and this music that is just awful. But we resonate with it because we've all had awful experiences. And it's just fine. We're not downplaying how it fits into society. But we can certainly say that the sound of a chainsaw will cause the forest to start to die. So we know that that's not good. We can call Shakti and we can call Shiva and see that some things need to be destroyed and some things need to be built. But we've confused what needs to be destroyed, and we've confused with what we need to build. Because the leaders, which are full of lead, to be lead, because the pencil is a to be pencil. And you write with that pen, that pentagram, and you fill in all of the blanks, you write with it. And you're writing with the lead. And so language, as the technology of language, has led you to be deceived. See, and we have to, as bringers of wisdom and knowledge, there are only so many ways to communicate. And it's called techno-shamanism. Like, you can find people that see the problem with what the telephone is and what the problem with the computing device is, but yet we still have to use it to talk to people that are already under the spell of the techno gods. So we have to use the device that we find to be anti-feeling, anti-human, pro-numbing, pro-numbering, as the word number is the word numb. And so we have to use these devices to somehow channel information into people that are dead and assaulted with literal salt, the salt of our ancestors. It's called Dead Sea salt. We don't have the spirit. See, there is spirit in alcohol. There's spirit in alchemy. It's why it's called a spirit. But you can take on certain types of entities by consuming certain types of alchemical products. If you cook a vegetable, you've alchemized a process. If you cook or let something grow old, say as kombucha or kimchi. You can take those things in and respect something, just as you can with many beverages and many food items. But a lot of them have been instilled and distilled into formats that aren't capable of resonating properly with the human spirit, because there's a digital-driven agenda that digitizes everyone. And the people that speak out on it and tell you it's more than the numbers, it's more than this, they're looked at like they're crazy, because they use the same sources, they use the same avenues, the same channels, the same things that they speak out against, because it's the only way to speak to people that are already not here, now, in this thing that we call life. And we tell them the most simple basic constructs, and they battle us, and they want to fight us, and they think that because we're passive people, that we don't fight back, that we're okay with it, that we'll just go on and on and on with the rigmarole and with the duality and with the fence sitting. And the only thing anyone ever got in life with sitting on the fence is a bloody asshole. So, what is the solution? Because the word solution comes from soul, which has to do with water, and it has to do with the sun. So there's an easy solution. But when you cross your soul, you get salt. When you put a tea into something, when you steep a tea, you can gain information from the organic world. And the organic world can reflect things and see through the cube of the inorganic world. This is how plants live, because it refracts and reflects light through the salt and the soil and the soul of the earth and the death that's beneath it. And that's what it sits there as, a mirror. But we as humans have decided to eat the mirror. We take the salt in and think that that's us. And so when we've consumed these salts, it makes a bunch of tiny little cubes and mirrors in our consciousness that do nothing to assist us but assault us and turn our minds into Hanuman, the monkey mind, which runs around and dances all over the place because it keeps seeing its reflection everywhere else. But when you're centered and you see that everybody is your reflection, and then you go and assist them and say, hey, I'd like to break this mirror. There's nothing for you to see here. You're yourself. People get very confused because it becomes very, whoa, there's nothing, wait, it's just me and you all exist too, and whoa, this is weird. Because it was easy for Hanuman to jump around and stare at the mirror and to play dress up. To be, every day is Halloween. Every day is dress up. People go to work. And when they wake up in the morning, they wake up and they mourn. And they hear that all-arm alarm clock. It's called an all-arm sea lock. They have taken your arms, all of them, and they've cloaked them, they've clocked them, they've locked them to the sea. And they hear that alarm and they wake up and they go and they work for an income, for no outcome, for an income. And they put a noose around their neck, which is a tie. They tie themselves to some inorganic construct, which is a corporation. And they give life to the inorganic the inorganic thing, the Saturnian concept, the poor part of it, the the upside down version of Saturn. And they give life to something that shouldn't have life. They give symbols more value than their own life. They give the corporation more value. And they play dress up every day. They put their high heels on. That has to hurt. They put on their bra with this underwire. And they're cutting off their own lymph system, their own body, their own energy center to earn the inorganic fake fiat moon currency. And then these men put these ties on and these belts. It's called a bell T. It's across the ball. Now they've split ball. And they wonder why they got Dunlops. And their belly is hanging over. So, I'm not sure what else there is to say. As I keep making these videos, I keep talking, and it seems like some people are getting it, and I really appreciate that. I do, and I hope it serves you well. No, that's not correct. I hope it springs you. I don't want you being a well, because that's what people do. They drink well water. Well, I hope it springs you into, as a spring blooms and blossoms. I hope it brings you a spring of knowledge, of life. Cheers, y'all. And as I said, we would talk about the Mayans and astral travel and what happened in 2012. I don't know if this will be a part 2 or if I'll just bind them together, because it is bound together. What happened in 2012, and this has to do with the revealing, is that everyone would have to be what they were. That you would see the veil, which means a veil means evil, lifted. Means the veil or the evil gets lifted up to the planet Earth, the plane that we're on. And also, heaven got dropped down here. So the higher consciousness and the good and the quality came down onto Earth and exposed themselves as exactly that. And the evil, the vile, the disgusting, the filth that was beneath us. And again, they're both perfectly fine. And we have to have love and compassion for both aspects. It's easy to, swim around in the pig, in the mud with the pig. It's very easy to do. And the confusing part is it's hard to actually be the opposite. It's hard to live in the higher realms all the time. So here's 2012. It all collapsed. And this is what the revealing is. This is what the scripture, the Bible, speaks of. Because obviously there's magicians, and what they do is they write a playbook, and then they follow it. And maybe we were all the magicians a long time ago, and we are the ancestors. Who knows? But what we can see is that you see the results of you see the blossom, you see the spring. So now on this flat earth plane that we all live on, the things that were above already came down. So these blood over intent rituals, now people are doing it in the light. So they're taking black occult evening moon magic that used to be done where no one would see it, and they're doing it in the light. And then the light is exposing it for what it is. And it's putting light on it. And light will burn things off. It will take a while, but it will get burnt. But if you are of the light, then you won't get burnt, because you can't burn yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with being of the soil or of the earth or of lower realms, because that's where seeds grow from, because we were all in the lower realm and then everything got bound together. And so it's either a choice of being a seed that grows towards the sun, or being in the manure, the soil, and the pig, where the pigs roll around, which is just fine if that's what you'd like to do. But it's very evident that the Mayans were speaking of, because they were all magicians, let's make that very clear, because they were in the Maya, the illusion, the the illuminated. They were in the light, and they were creating something. And then there's people that have done their magic in the night, and now it's just very clear, because everything's a clear channel, and it's about what you are now. It's not exposing the past or prophetizing off the future. Those two things don't exist anymore. It's right now, and what are you right now, and what can you be and show right now? Because that's the collapsing of what was above and what's below. If there's nowhere to climb, and there's nowhere to drop down to, then it's all right here. See, time was a ladder from what was beneath to what's above, but if it's all here right now, then it's very clear. So one day it became very easy for everyone to see what was going on with the media, that all they do is lie about everything. But some of these media sources maybe they're going, wow, this is ridiculous. But who knows? I'm not judging either way, but it's this collapsing of, we could even get into Terence McKenna's work, time wave zero. And a zero is the whole. Zero is where things originate from. So as some people have speculated, we might be going backwards to the beginning, the alpha, the omega, all of these ideas. And if you put an A in a circle, which is alpha, omega, curiously enough, you get a sign for anarchy. And so there's a lot of really interesting observations about the coding and texture of reality right now. So there's people that started to notice what was going on with these magicians. All of us, and that's what I'm saying. Most people were sleeping magicians. They had no idea. They were underneath another magician's spell, because the spell was casted on everyone. On your Chromecast, on your television, on the scepter you bought. When you bought it, you bought the lies, you bought the channels. And then here we are again, as I go back to the beginning of this diatribe to explain to you. Now there's people that have to use these same systems to show you what's going on within the systems. And then don't get it confused. It's very easy to see who's just doing it, who's showing you, who's deceiving, who needs the money, who needs the this, who needs that, who requires your attention, who requires your service, who requires certain aspects of your mind, and who's trying to take the shackles off of the mind. It's a weird place when you have energy unto yourself, when your portals are clean. And so when I speak about cleaning your temple, then it's an easier place to generate energy. So go back and take a look at all of the ways to clean your temple, which include, and the fastest way to do it is to recycle your urine, to drink distilled water, stop consuming the salt. It's not for you. When you were a baby and you came out of the womb, you weren't going in search of the Himalayan mountains and the salt. How much more clear can it be? These animals don't have aeroplanes. They're not getting on airplanes and flying to the Himalayas and getting the Himalayan sea salt with 82 different elements. They're not doing that. They're eating grass. They're basking in the sunlight. They're drinking water, clean water. They're not drinking salt water. You don't find too many animals near the, which means they're feral. You don't find them near the sea. They're not taking in the sea salt. They're finding clean water, fresh water. Why would you do anything different? Why do you need salt? The words have, as always, been, we have synonyms, we have antonyms, we have words that mean the opposite of what they mean. We can flip them around. We have words that mean this and then other words that mean the same thing, but then the words that mean the opposite. It's so confused in the tongue. But that doesn't mean that we can't use the same words to cut open a wound that wasn't sealed right. See, people have sewn up wounds with scars that weren't sealed right. And there's something stuck in there. You know, you've heard of stories that have bullets that they didn't remove and they sealed the wound up anyways and they said, don't worry about it. And so some people have to come through and perform what is an incision, a precise incision, and remove what was left inside. Because that lead is heavy metal. That lead from that bullet, which is the bull, because they're full of bull, the bull, the bullshit. They're being led somewhere. So some people have to come in and do this to your consciousness as well. Precise incisions of your consciousness to remove the lead so you are no longer lead. You are AU, which is gold. And I'm not suggesting to eat the gold or the silver or the bronze. There may be some benefits to it, absolutely. But that's not the source. You are the source. Just as the baby came out the womb and searched for nothing. It didn't lick the salt, and the animals aren't flying planes. Don't confuse things. It's very simple. You are the Godhead. Cheers, y'all.